So here's my quick tutorial video on the roll-up. The roll-up is a very complex move and there's lots of reasons why people get stuck. So this video addresses the 3 most common places that get into trouble. But the beauty about the roll-up is it is a whole body movement. Everything should go together. And this is a move that you see in the gait cycle. So it is a really important one to work on. The second thing is it takes time to change the body. So this is not going to be a one and done, but these are tips and tricks for you to see where you're not moving and how you might be able to help yourself. So I have a half dome. These are readily available on Amazon or eBay. You can just search half dome, half foam roller, and you should be able to pick one up relatively cheaply. You can try a couple of towels. They do need to be quite firm and a reasonable height. I find a full foam roller to be too high, but there's nothing to stop you trying that. So we're going to start with one of the most common places, which is this whole mid rib cage, bottom of the shoulder blades, kind of bra strap, rib cage area. And it's the place that when people can't get movement through their rib cage, as they roll back, they'll hit the deck and then there'll be this whole to get themselves up. I have found this to be really useful in helping my clients to understand what they're trying to do. So when you come back on the dome, this is a little bit different for everybody. I don't start people on the top of the dome. I start them more down the front side of the dome because you're already letting gravity help you out. I like to start people with the knees bent to give the ribs as much chance to do what we want, and then to just bring the hands to the back of the head. So the first thing you're going to do is go back and see if you can sense where the apex, the top of what you're using is, which now has my eyes looking straight up. If I put my thumbs down the back of my neck, I can feel there's no wrinkles in my neck. So I know that's a pretty good place. My head is not thrown back and it's not thrown forward. So right now, I want you to slowly send your eyes across your ceiling till you meet the wall in front of you. Slowly bring your eyes down the wall in front of you until you find the floor. Now reverse that journey. Send the eyes forward to find the wall. Let your eyes slowly and smoothly come up the wall and back to the ceiling. So the first issue we might have are eyes that can't travel smoothly, and therefore they can't bring the neck forward or the head forward in a smooth fashion. So this might be the first thing you practice. And if you wear glasses, it might be useful to take the glasses off, because it's not that you particularly need to see something, it's that we need the eye muscles to send out the message to your head and your neck that they need to go forward. Then the second place we want to work is the ribs, because they should be listening to the head coming forward. So as my eyes start the journey, I want the exhale breath, and I'm trying to track the back of my ribs and feel them moving down this front side of the dome toward the floor. As my eyes start the journey forward and back, I want to feel those back ribs come up and away. So when I'm in this place looking straight up to the ceiling, there's no ribs down this front side, nothing is near the floor. I have this big old space here. And then as I exhale, I'm training the ribs to understand this coming down into the floor. You really want to get your breath fired up here. As you inhale, the whole rib cage expands, like blowing up a huge balloon. When you exhale, the whole rib cage closes in. So I'm thinking left to right, front to back, everything closes in and down. Once I can feel the movement of the ribs on the back of the dome, You could then repeat that with the legs out straight, which I would definitely do. It's just probably going to take too long if I do that. And then the next place we would come to is playing with that on the floor. So now that your ribs have that impression, you have the picture in your mind of what you're doing. It's time to take it to the floor. With exactly the same toolkit, I come straight up first. The eyes go forward, come down, which starts to bring me forward, and then I reverse that journey to come down. But now I know that as soon as my head starts coming up, I should be feeling back ribs coming to the floor. And the more up and forward I go, the lower down the rib cage I should feel ribs coming to the floor and then releasing away. And once you've nailed that, then you want to try that again with straight legs, which is a whole different kettle of fish, because you're working against any hip tension, something that the pelvis might not be doing, but that would be my next step. Okay, so that's the number one place. Takes time and practice, and a whole load of other exercises maybe to really get the breath into the ribs and out, but that's a great starting point. Then we also want to check in with the pelvis. Is the pelvis doing its thing? Because as the head comes up, the pelvis has to roll back to make almost this kind of hammock shape, I guess is a good description. So again, the half dome can be really useful here. So you're going to bring it underneath your pelvis. Now, some people's posture will naturally favor that when they lie on the dome, they're falling down the side nearest their head. Other people will naturally favor being right on the top of the dome with that more forward tilted pelvis. The beauty of the dome is whatever it is, the dome will help you to move. So I like to get people as close to being on the apex, on the top of the dome as possible. And then just like with the ribs, as you exhale and come back, you're imagining or feeling the back of the pelvis coming down this side of the dome that is nearest your head. As you inhale, you're going onto the top of the dome and down the front side. And we want to create very much like the ribs, that same sensation that you can move down one side of the dome, down the other side of the dome. Now, once you have that freed up, so it's an exhale as everything moves to the floor, like a deflating balloon, and an inhale as everything moves to the top of the dome, like an inflating balloon. Once you have that understanding that your pelvis should be able to roll in both directions, now pay attention to your ribs. So as I exhale and deflate to the floor, I can feel my back ribs coming down. As I inhale and roll the pelvis forward, I can feel these front ribs coming up. And that's the place you want to be able to get to, where the ribs and the pelvis are now listening to each other. Then when you think you have that nailed, you take the half dome out, and now you start to play with it on the floor. Now, clearly, I'm not encouraging anyone to move into pain, but over time, this movement should be so big and so exaggerated, you can see the head moving on the mat. And it's not because I'm moving my head, it's because my pelvis is dictating to the rib cage and the skull where it needs those parts to be. The next step then is to see, can you do that with two straight legs? Can you roll the pelvis backward and forward? And does it do the same thing of bringing the ribs down and reaching them away? If we have these two connected, now you're well on the way to being able to roll up, because now once you have your head up and your eyes are tracking forward and the ribs close down, right at this moment, my pelvis has rolled back, my lower back is really close to the floor, and then I have that ability to roll through the spine to come on up. The head is the last piece of the puzzle, and this can be a tricky one because a lot of people will carry a lot of tension on the back of the neck and be very weak on the front of the neck. So learning it with the hands behind the head is a good place to start when you're breaking it down into modules. But eventually, if you don't address the imbalance in the neck, you'll always find that place where you're getting stuck. Because if the head can't come forward, the ribs can't do their thing, the pelvis can't do their thing, and it knocks on down. So put the ledge of your skull, so I'm not in the neck, not on the hairline, right onto the dome. And again, I would start with the knees bent. So by this stage, you should have really got eye muscles that can smoothly take the eyes forward and down, back and up. So now you're going to bring the arms forward on a high diagonal. And from here, your gaze is straight up. Your neck is in this kind of middle ground. Now I want to come straight up to the ceiling, send my eyes forward down the wall in front of me, and as that changes the position of my head, now I've got ribs that are going down, pelvis that has rolled back, and then all of that should unwind as the eyes take the head home. Once you can do this smoothly, where you don't have to use your shoulders to get up, you're not throwing your arms forward, you're not holding your breath, so you can see there's a lot of things to work on. But once you get eyes that can bring the head forward smoothly, life becomes a lot easier. And then you can again practice that with straight legs, where now we're really demanding a lot more of all the muscles to bring everything in to roll you forward and to bring you back. So those are my 3 big ones. There are some other things that affect the roll up. Generally, it's not a weakness in your core. It's just some firing at the right times that isn't happening. And once we can get everything to speak to everything else, the movement becomes easier. And I have taught literally hundreds of clients. And for the most part, this is a very successful strategy to begin with. If you want me to put some more tips and tricks for the roll up, don't forget to comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because that's really helpful and we're just building and getting going. There are many other things. We could talk about your tongue placement and why that might be messing your roll up. We could talk about your legs and your feet. Whatever it is, hopefully I'll see you on the mat again soon.